From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Thanks for staying up with us. I'm ALYSSA Donovan in for Nicole Griffin. Tonight, a disturbing trend continues for the Hoosier State. For the second day in a row, Indiana recorded a new high of COVID-19 cases, 1,945 new cases and 21 more deaths. 3,555 Hoosiers have now died from COVID-19, and since March, more than 133,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. More than 2.3 million tests have been administered in Indiana. President Trump is looking to reignite his campaign. Earlier today, he gathered hundreds of supporters on the South Lawn of the White House for a rally. It was the president's first in-person event since he tested positive for the coronavirus 9 days ago. Let's go to ABC's Faith Abube in Washington with details on what the president said and the new reports about his decision-making.
President Trump rallying hundreds of mostly masked but tightly packed supporters with an 18-minute campaign speech from the White House balcony.
I want you to know our nation's going to defeat this terrible China virus, as we call it.
The president claiming the coronavirus is disappearing despite 58,000 COVID-19 cases reported Friday.
It's going to disappear. It is disappearing, and vaccines are going to help, and the therapeutics are going to help a lot.
And as he and dozens connected to the White House battle the deadly virus.
I'm feeling great. I don't know about you. How's everyone feeling?
This evening, the president's physician releasing a memo saying he's no longer a risk to others. The president pulling out of next week's now-canceled debate after the commission turned it virtual in the wake of his positive test. Joe Biden will join ABC News for a town hall Thursday. The president will appear in a competing event on NBC News. Both men trading attacks during their campaign event Saturday. Biden speaking to union workers.
America deserves a president who understands what people are going through. You're facing real challenges right now, and the last thing you need is a president who exacerbates them.
Trump's event targeting black voters.
Sleepy Joe Biden's betrayed black and Latino Americans. If you think he can run this country, you're wrong.
The president likely to face tough questions about new revelations in two New York Times reports. One saying the White House blocked the CDC from requiring masks on public transportation nationwide. The other claiming President Trump reinvented the so-called D.C. swamp and allegedly profited by using his own hotels and resorts for public and private business and special interests. ABC News has not independently confirmed those reports, but has reached out to the Trump campaign and the White House for comment. Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
Well, Project Hope is opening its doors today with one mission in mind. As WRTV's Troy Washington reports, the founder says it's all about bringing hope back to the Circle City.
Kamara Holman has always had a heart to help, but today she's celebrating a major milestone.
God planted that seed in my head over 5 years ago. Better yet, he didn't place it in my head, he put it in my heart. And when something is placed inside of your heart and it's from above, you gotta act on it. And he would not let me get no rest until I started this project. And through the trials and the tribulations, 5 to 6 years later, we are finally here.
The doors here at the Hope Project on West 38th are finally open.
The Hope Project caters to the individuals in this city that need assistance. If they need assistance with clothing, we've got it for you. If you need assistance with counseling, free domestic violence counseling, free drug abuse counseling, free depression and anxiety counseling, that is what the Hope Project is all about. And we also do job search and resume assistance just to help individuals get back to where they need to be.
So why does she call it the Hope Project? Actually, that part is easy to explain.
I want to show them that you have people in this city that actually care about what you're going through and that there is always hope for tomorrow, hope for a brighter future. And if it takes a shirt, if it takes a pair of shoes, if it takes resume training, counseling, free of charge, we're going to be there to help you out.
She wants people to know that help is never out of reach.
What they need to do is go to thehopeprojectindy.com, register, tell me what it is you're going through, tell me what it is you need. Email comes directly to the Hope Project email, and one of our staff members will reach out to you, meet you here at the center, and get you what you need to help you get along the way.
Working for you, Troy Washington, WRTV.
Well, dozens of bikers took over the Circle downtown today for an event they called Retake Indianapolis. Today was supposed to be Motorcycles on Meridian, which is known as one of the most iconic two-wheel events in the country. Normally, the roaring engines would be heard throughout downtown Indy, but with COVID-19, that event was postponed this year. So instead, a group held a gathering to encourage people to take a stand and support local businesses in the Circle City. The hope is that next year, the Motorcycles on Meridian event will go on as planned, which we're told brings thousands of bikers and spectators to the city.
This entire circle would be filled. 2 lines, one around the inside, one around the outside, extending the whole way down Meridian past the Slippery Noodle. There'd be 4 lines of bikes out there, and all the side streets would be loaded. There maybe 10,000 bikes anyway. It would be totally full.
Far fewer bikes came out today, but those that did were passionate about the cause. Now, this weekend got off to a deadly start. 2 people died in separate shootings Friday night. The first incident happened just before 10 last night on the north side. A person was shot in the 3000 block of North Park Avenue. That's near East 30th Street. The victim was also hit by a vehicle. Police say the driver is a possible suspect. The victim died at the scene. His name has not been released. Minutes after that shooting, police were called to another shooting, this one on the city's west side. We're told a woman was shot in the 1200 block of North King Avenue. Medics rushed her to the hospital in critical condition, but she later died. Anyone with information about either of the shootings is asked to call the IMPD homicide office. A 2-day manhunt that started in Hancock County is over tonight. We've learned 37-year-old Michael Riddle turned himself in to the Johnson County authorities early this morning. Riddle told deputies he gave up because he was tired of running. Several law enforcement agencies had joined Greenfield police in their search for Riddle, who was considered armed and dangerous. He was wanted on drug and weapons-related charges.
Just after 11:30, thanks for staying up with us. Temperatures are still in the 60s, 66 in Indy. Right now it's 71 in Lafayette. Lots of clouds across central Indiana, but no rain. 53 days, if you're counting, since our last big rain. You have to go back to August 18th to find rain. What sits to the south will likely stay to the south. The circulation from Delta south of the Ohio River. We'll see lots of clouds during the day tomorrow. Couple of sprinkles possible, but not expecting much in the way of rain at all. Temperatures, they'll be in the upper 70s. We'll focus on our next chance for rain coming up.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Several churches came together today to clean up a ballpark on the northeast side of the city. Church of Glory, Bread of Life, Miracle of Blessing, and Love of Mercy churches worked together today to refurbish Forest Manor Ballpark. Volunteers pulled weeds, painted the fence, cleaned up trash, and planted flowers. They also worked to fix up the concession stand. They'll be repaving a basketball court at the park in the future as well. The park will now be called Legacy of Hope Memorial Garden. The pastor who organized the cleanup and repair used to play ball there when he was a kid himself.
We plan on having fix up the ball field. We plan on fixing up the basketball court, and we plan on having a kickball tournament with the community.
Pastor Donald Edwards Jr. received a green space grant this year with Keep Indy Beautiful. This helped get the plants and additional supplies to get the project done. And there's been a lot of negative speculation about mail-in ballots, a lot of it coming from the White House. Up next, the facts about the increasingly popular method of voting. And coming up later, a double effort to help small businesses in downtown Indy and around the country. The new measures launched by a social media giant and the local push to help as well. In 2016, some 33 million ballots were cast by mail. That's a quarter of all votes that were cast. With pandemic protocols and precautions, experts estimate a record-breaking number of mail-in votes this election cycle. But with the president calling into question the safety and security of the system, Usher Qureshi sought out the facts when it comes to getting ballots counted accurately.
In case you were wondering, voting by mail has been in place for more than 150 years, since the Civil War.
It's become so common in the United States that since 2010, about a quarter of the electorate has voted by mail in federal elections.
Some states have what's known as a universal vote by mail system, which means they mail ballots to all their voters. But in most states, voters must request an absentee ballot.
Most of them have made exceptions for 2020 because of COVID. And so what we have left is only a handful of states where you need an excuse to vote by mail.
According to the National Conference of State Legislatures, normally 34 states and Washington, D.C. allow no excuse absentee mailed ballot voting. 5 automatically mail ballots to all their voters, and specifically for 2020, at least 4 more have done the same. But what about fraud?
The mail ballots are corrupt, in my opinion, and they collect them and they get people to go in and sign them, and then they're forgeries in many cases. It's a horrible thing.
Experts say not so. While there have been a few examples of fraud committed in mail voting, in modern history, studies indicate it's not common at all.
Exceptionally rare. The chances of somebody committing fraud in mail voting is about the same as somebody getting struck by lightning.
What is more common? Rejection. According to the Brennan Center, during the midterm elections nationwide, more than 430,000 mailed ballots were rejected due to delays, minor defects, and voter errors. In some states, rejected ballots affected minorities at higher rates than white voters.
Do it early so you can avoid the kind of last-minute complications that sometimes we've seen. The number one reason that mail ballots don't count is because people get them in late.
Even with the vote-by-mail expansion, there are still variations in deadlines and rules. Experts say it's important to make sure you follow your state's specific requirements. I'm Usher Qureshi reporting.
Just last week, a federal appeals court upheld a ruling affirming Indiana's current limits on absentee voting by mail. A group of voters had sued the state in an effort to expand the list of reasons to qualify to vote by absentee ballot. The appeals court cited the fact that Indiana already offers about a dozen reasons to request an absentee ballot. Let WRTV be your central source for all you need to know before November 3rd. Go to our Vote in 2020 digital section on our website. You'll find everything you need to know there, including who's on your ballot, where you can vote and when, how early voting works and when that starts, what mailing in your vote looks like, and any other questions you might have this election season. Keep a tab open at WRTV.com/vote in 2020. Hiring Hoosiers is our effort to keep you and your family connected to career opportunities, and it's never too late to start. Advanced manufacturing is a huge part of Indiana's economy. That's why Allegion, a door hardware manufacturer, has hosted Students for Manufacturing Day field trips for the last 6 years. This year, the event was held virtually. Industry leaders say it's imperative to reach a younger generation because of a growing skills gap. It's predicted that nationally, 4.6 million manufacturing jobs will be available in the next decade, but more than half of those jobs could go unfilled.
If you like working with your hands, if you like technology, if you want to be a part of change, be a part of the future, come to manufacturing, just because it's so many things change. We work with robots. I've seen so many things. This is just an amazing opportunity.
To learn more, students can go to creatorswanted.org, which is a website by the National Association of Manufacturing. Allegion is making a recording of the virtual field trip to share with schools. To learn more about Manufacturing Day, job opportunities with Allegion and other Central Indiana companies that are hiring right now, you can check out hiringhoosiers.com. And sending mail might get a little more expensive in 2021. The U.S. Postal Service is planning to increase prices. The new proposal raises the price for first-class mail by 1.8% and all other categories by 1.5%. Some prices will remain unchanged, like the Forever stamp at 55 cents. Others will only go up 1 cent. The single-piece letter additional ounce is set to increase by 5 cents to 20. If approved by the Postal Commission, the changes will take effect on January 24th next year. Now, more than 500,000 people along the Gulf Coast are without power tonight following Hurricane Delta making landfall. The storm brought heavy rains, damaging winds, and flooding to the area, and it's now moving further inland. In Lafayette, Louisiana, strong wind gusts ripped out trees, the soil already saturated from previous storms. One couple was at home when a tree crashed into their den. That room is now gone, with nothing left but photos of their children.
This can be replaceable, but we are not. This could have been so much worse.
Yes. Yes, it could have been a tragedy.
55 miles west in Lake Arthur, Louisiana, blue tarps barely cling on to damaged homes. The cleanup here could take days, possibly even weeks. What's left of Delta is now threatening parts of the mid-Atlantic.
And for us, we're just on the northwest side of that, ALYSSA. A couple of showers tomorrow, but the best chance for rain, and I'm sure you're holding out hope for rain, is Monday afternoon into early Monday night along a cold front. Next 4 days stay very mild, well into the 70s. The warmer it feels, though, through the middle of next week, the colder it will feel at the end of next week. Temperatures around the region basically all in the 60s, 65 in Martinsville, Indianapolis 1 degree warmer than that. Temperature in Lafayette in the 70s. Overnight, low temperatures will go on a slide, as you can see. We're very mild tomorrow morning as we get to Monday and Tuesday, starting to cool down just a little bit. We're way up here, above average through Wednesday, and then look at this. It's like a ski slope. You're headed down. We're going to gain a lot of momentum as temperatures fall into the 50s for highs at the end of the week. Temperatures in the 70s tomorrow. More cloud cover, especially in the south and east, and the better chance for any light showers will be southeast of Indianapolis and east of Indianapolis through the first part of the day. I don't think it's going to amount to much, so don't get your hopes up. There's your probability of rain. Monday, a little better opportunity, and it should be later in the day ahead of a cold front. And it'll have a little more moisture in the air, may have a thunderstorm as well. There are the probabilities for showers and thunderstorms late in the day. I pick up the timeline Monday at 1 o'clock. The gray represents the cloud cover. Here comes the line of showers, maybe isolated thunderstorms, even independent of any thunderstorms. It will be windy. We'll have wind gusts to 30 miles per hour. Any contribution from thunderstorms could make those stronger. There's your wind, still out of a warm direction, but late in the day, once the front goes through, change in wind direction begins, a change in the way it will feel. We'll have a couple different cold fronts next week. Monday planner by noon at 71, afternoon temperatures and heating probably cut off by some of these thunderstorms approaching from the northwest. A couple of them with gusty winds. Temperatures Monday from north to south, cooler where the air arrives, the cooler air where the thunderstorms arrive earlier, and to the south and east of Indy, temperatures close to 80. Tuesday, 73 degrees. Wednesday, we're still at 73. Here's the big reveal, though, for the big change that arrives the end of next week. Lows back into the middle to upper 30s. 66 Thursday with some showers. Only 56 Friday and Saturday. When we come back, Brad Brown will have a preview of the Colts-Cleveland game for tomorrow.
Well, the Colts finished the first month of the regular season with 3 straight wins. If they want that streak to reach 4, they'll have to do it without one of their most important players. Brad Brown has a look ahead to this Sunday's matchup with the Browns.
Not everything has gone right for the Colts over the past 3 games, but they've certainly done more well than not. And with each successful quarter, they seem to be climbing up the ranks in the AFC.
We found a way collectively to win the game, 3 out of the first 4. So that's the objective each week. And however it shakes out, it doesn't mean one side's more important or one side won it this week than the other. We all win it. We all win together because I think they feed off one another. Depending on how the game goes.
It is the Colts defense that continues to impress, leading the entire league in several major categories. Fewest points allowed so far, fewest rushing yards against, best against third down. That relentless pressure will be key on Sunday at Cleveland.
It's definitely starting over every week. Every week is a new opponent, so it's just got to restart every week. And every tackle you're going against isn't the same, so you got to make adjustments week in and week out to continue to apply pressure or put pressure on the quarterback.
But this game will bring a tougher test. Linebacker Darius LEONARD is out with a groin injury. He's been the D's vocal leader and energy guy all season.
I tried it out. I knew that I couldn't do it with being comfortable out there. So, the biggest thing was, man, cheering your teammates, because there's no better feeling than, cheering on the guys that you see day in and day out, and they're out there balling. And, it sucks.
The offense continues doing just enough, but difficulties in the red zone are leading to more field goals than touchdowns. That might work for now, but could catch up with the Colts down the road.
We ran the ball well when we needed to there in the fourth quarter. kind of, to bleed some clock and move the ball down the field. But yeah, I think it definitely needs to get better. We definitely have talked about that.
Cleveland is no slouch this season. They matched the Colts' 3-1 record coming in. They've got big momentum from their win over Dallas. It's a true chance for both teams to take a big step in the right direction. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Well, since the pandemic, indie businesses have taken a major financial hit, including those in tourism. But as our Kelsey Anderson reports, one organization is hoping to bring you back downtown.
The hospitality and tourism industry has been one of the hardest hit by this pandemic.
Nate Swick works for Visit Indy. He says about 40,000 hospitality workers in the Circle City are still unemployed as businesses start to slowly open back up.
It's an industry that typically employs over 80,000 employees.
So he and Visit Indy are trying to get things back on track with the Indy Attractions Pass. The pass can get you into the Idle Jordan Museum, the Indiana State Museum, the Indianapolis Zoo, the Children's Museum, and Conner Prairie, all for one set fee, and the pass is delivered right to your phone.
You either do a one-day pass or a 3-day pass, and we think this will be kind of a way to draw new people into the city who maybe haven't had the chance to buy these. Maybe it's been out of their price point or they just haven't pulled the trigger yet. And so this is a really good reason to do that, but also to drive people back downtown who haven't necessarily been downtown in the last 6 months.
He wants downtown guests to know these venues are safe to come to.
Everybody is making sure that it's the safest way possible to welcome visitors back to the city. So everything from the Children's Museum to the zoo, the State Museum, all these entities have worked together in numerous ways alongside the city to make sure that it's safe and a fun way to come back, because you need to make sure that you get some of the same experience, but in a safe way.
Swick tells me they think this pass will benefit more than just the attractions listed.
You go to the museum, then you might stay downtown at a hotel, or you might also go to a restaurant, which also all need the help right now.
Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
And you can get an Indy Attraction Pass right now. They're good for 90 days, but if you choose the 3-day pass, you do have to use it in 3 consecutive days. Now, dozens of families went to a local car dealer today and drove home with a new family member. Indiana Humane Services hosted an outdoor adoption event at Tom Wood Subaru on East 96th Street. 9 area rescues and shelters offered dogs, cats, and rabbits for adoption. Organizers say this event filled a major void after the Indy Mega Adoption event had to be canceled because of the pandemic.
Always an adoptable pet is a great option for people, but especially in 2020, I find that it's really relevant because so many people are at home and looking for that companionship that they don't have any longer due to COVID restrictions. So of all times, anywhere you are, it's great to go to an area rescue or an area shelter and adopt a pet. And that's why we're out here today for one-stop shopping.
Organizers say even if you couldn't make it to the event today, there are plenty of dogs, cats, and rabbits available for adoption at local rescues and shelters. Well, Citizens Energy is ready to show off their new reservoir. Citizens released these pictures of the site. The utility group says the 3 billion gallon reservoir is expected to be up and running in the spring. Citizens wants to show off the location now before it's filled with water.
That's amazing. 3 whatever billion you said there. Hopefully we'll have some water to fill it with. Our next best chance of rain on Monday, but dry for most of us tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Thanks for making WRTV your choice for news. Our next newscast is tomorrow evening at 6. Thanks for joining us.